Back speaking with our chief geologist, Adam, this morning. Adam, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Good to catch up, Adam. Final results in last week here from our successful bulk sampling campaign at Creswick. What are your thoughts, firstly, on how the program went and what have we learned?
Yeah, Andrew, we got the last of the 200 odd bulk samples in. We just announced. One significant major result was it about just over a gram, and it went up to just over 8 grams once we bulk sampled it. Um, yeah, we've learned probably different ways of refining the technique a bit further. Also, the thing is it's highlighted the variability about Creswick and a lot of the central Victorian projects, and that is that you have to support, you have to have the support of a meaningful sampling method to get the true grade, so to speak. So the theory is that the bigger the sample size, the less variability, and so the more confidence you've got in the project, and with the grades. So and once again, just like Davey Road in the first program, we've proved that bulk sampling is the way to go.
So we're talking broad zones of high-grade pockets of gold here.
Yeah, so Kuboid Hill was quite different to the first drilling program at Davey Road. So Davey Road, which we finished up back in the new year, there was no broad zones of mineralisation either side of the quartz vein. So it was, you're in the quartz vein, nothing either side got in terms of gold. And it was a lot higher grade too at Davey Road, to be honest. 1 meter at 44 grams, around that sort of. That was some of our highest grades. And then Kuboid Hill was, we didn't know what to expect there at all. We're the first ones to drill there. It was following up from a soil campaign which successfully delineated gold all over the soil there. We had a few rock chips there going up to 8 grams or so, which aligns actually with our grades we got in the drilling. And we already knew as well that prospectors in the area had been finding gold nuggets all over that ground there with metal detectors. Nothing big, but a lot of small stuff in quartz. So we knew it was around there, and we thought, well, let's have a look at it. And so Kuboid Hill ended up being, the quartz veins that were quite significantly larger. We had holes there where we drilled, 84 meters in length, some of the drill holes, and 30 meters of them were literally 80% quartz in them. Yeah, so it just sort of also proves the point to us that the gold at Creswick is not just always narrow veins and higher grade. There is the chance, and there is possibility to actually find other things that are broader scale, which means that we can approach it from a different angle about what's potentially economic or not.
Now, Adam, tell me a bit more about the use here of photon assaying. I mean, given the extent of our program at Creswick, the sheer number of samples we had to submit, the turnaround times were a bit longer than we initially anticipated. So you're expecting photon assaying to speed things up, are you?
Yeah, so photon assaying is a fairly new technique. A lot of the major mines here in Victoria, especially like Fosterville, they're solely using it for their production analysis for their underground. So photon assay analysis simply is bombarding the sample with X-rays similar to X-rays, and it picks up on all the electrons and all that what's in the sample. So the good thing about it is it's very less preparation time, and there's no fire assaying or destroying the sample, so to speak, to get the result. And the other thing is that you just do a simple preparation, put it into a cup, feed into the machine, and it's 45 seconds, zap it, and you've got your result. It's only for sort of economic sort of cutoff levels, but when we're drilling, that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for trace elements or anything. So so the turnaround on it is much quicker. You don't have to go through all this laborious processes at the lab of finely grinding and splitting a sample and all these other things. It's all just straight coarse crush it, throw it into the jar, feed it into the machine, get a result out. So we've decided we've put a few samples in just to test this out, and yeah, and actually compare it with the fire assays just to just to make sure that things are matching and we're not losing anything valuable out of it. And yeah, we'll go from there, and hopefully it speeds up it should speed up time frames for turnarounds.
And so these samples that you've submitted for photon assaying analysis, where are they from?
We selected about just I don't know 4 to 6 just out of this last Kuboid Hill stuff. And then on top of that, we've got around 25 to 30, roughly around that number. Might be a little bit more from rock chipping over at Tambo, which was just completed just over a week ago now.
And what were your observations from that sampling program there? What did you see?
Yeah, so at Tambo, we just got back last week. We focused on a mine there called Duke of Cornwall. Great, it's got good accessibility in there to get in there and have a look. It's all on private land there. Landowner's great. And yeah, first observations is, I think it's been, there's a lot of mining activity there. They've done a lot of small scale mining there, over 100 years ago. We do know that there was no huge grades there, but there was stuff going at least ½ ounce a ton on the records. And the other thing is too is we had done previous just preliminary work, where we just did a handful of rock chips a couple of years ago, and we had a 22 grammer was one of our best ones. But also what was interesting is the mineral bismuth was there. So we had some pretty high results on that. So and on the ground there, I saw sort of bismuth looking minerals in the in a lot of the quartz around. There's a lot of sections there where I think there's been no depth. The historical mining has not mined anything to any extraordinary depth at all. The deepest workings I saw were probably 10 to 15 meters deep at most. So there's a lot of opportunity there. So what the rock chipping is going to do is just give us a preliminary idea what grades are around. What's some expectations there in the quartz veins. And then on top of that too, we've just done some basic soil grid or soil lines across the mineralisation. The idea with that is to just get a footprint about the pathfinder minerals in the soils there, and that might lead us onto looking further along strike or in the same area there, looking for other Duke of Cornwall mines, so to speak.
And of course, within the next fortnight, Adam, you're heading north into Queensland. First stop, Blue Mountain, a project you're keen to get your teeth into. Just tell us a bit more about its prospectivity.
Yeah, so Blue Mountain is a tenement we acquired, must have been 18 months ago now. So yeah, getting boots on ground up there for the first, or ECR's getting boots on ground for the first time. And so most of the work that's been done previously has been on an alluvial gold resource there. So once again, it's all on private property on there. Landowner, or the actual landowner, helps us out. He's actually involved enough, where he's providing some of the machinery and whatnot. And I'll be going up there, or heading up there in about the next week and a half, 2 weeks. And we're going to be following up on some of the previous explorers' work. So the previous explorer who we bought the tenement off, they did they actually did 9 trenches across the alluvial, like the alluvial creeks and gullies and whatnot there. And has some pretty good significant grades there, maximum of 2 meters deep there. So it's quite shallow. And we want to just keep following on from that work really, and do as many trenches as we can, to be honest, by time and permits, and what we can achieve and on the ground when we're up there. I'm anticipating to probably be on the ground there for at least a week and a half, I'd say. So there'll be plenty of footage and plenty of other stuff coming out of that.
Early days, but there is, you feel, some potential for a decent sized resource there.
Yeah, so the previous company who had the ground, from their trenching, they're sort of inferring that there's definitely the potential there to have 80,000 ounces in the ground. there. And there's plenty of other areas there which are never been prospected or explored. So like as one example is there's one place called German Gully, which I want to put a couple of trenches across that if we can. That's over 1 kilometer long, so just by itself. So the idea is that we might be able to get a quite quick resource in the ground there. So a lot of value and asset there. Everybody's on board up there, landowner, people in the area. It's all So it's going to be quite exciting.
And Adam, what about next steps for Lulworth, of course?
We've just currently gone back into Lulworth. So a couple of our guys are up there right now. They're following up on doing soil gridding mostly. We identified a few hotspots in the creeks and streams, especially in a place called Reedy Creek and Butterfly Creek. But we had to get out of there before the wet season hit, so we didn't quite finish off what we wanted to get out of it last year. So they're in there right now and completing some quite substantial soil grids in there. What reports I'm hearing from them, they're seeing lots of good visuals in the ground. So that's one of our first tasks, and also we're going to be looking at some of the other quartz veins around Flaggy Creek, and during this campaign or during this season as well, we're going to be pushing further into the niobium and tantalum story there. So there's a lot of areas on the east side of the tenement area that have never been explored before. It's quite rugged and hard to get in there, but we've found a way to get in there. And so that's going to be one of the tasks too this year, is to get in there and have a look at that part of the tenement. The reason it's quite significant in that part of the tenement for niobium, or we think it might be significant for niobium and tantalum, is the recorded geology there from 20 years ago from aerial mapping states that it's got similar geology to Oakey Creek, which is where we found all the other niobium and tantalum anomalies. So, but it's quite a large area out to the east. So, fingers crossed that that some of those streams and the creeks and that out that way will yield something worth following up.
Well, as we said in the RNS, Adam, ECR now entering a very active period for exploration. We'll be seeing plenty more of you in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Andrew.